This is the self-indulgent start of season 3. I'm pretty excited about this. Season 3 is the book. We've always had this idea that the podcast is going to generate material that will go into a book at some point, but we've never really structured the podcasts around the structure we need for a book, so we haven't really done it. The plan for this season is that the podcast is going to be completely in line with what we want for the book, and therefore out of the podcast comes the book. And this comes out of all of us reading lots of best practice books and just thinking, well, that's not how it really happens. And wanting to write the book which gives somebody the A to Z of how to really go and do BI.
I think, to my mind, the first chapter is probably going to be debunking the myth of best practice. Once you can get past that idea that best practice exists, it's a lot easier not to get trapped by it. I think it comes down to there are good practices and bad practices, and just because something's a bad practice doesn't mean that you should never do it. Bad practices are a bit like cream cakes. They're okay once in a while.
The other thing that I'm fascinated in is client motivation.
Getting seduced by a technology buzzword.
Yeah.
We've seen it a few years ago. The buzzword of the day was cubes. I was involved in a project where it was set out because one of the directors wanted to have a cube, but no idea what should be in it, and the project obviously flopped.
That wasn't just a few. That was quite a few years ago, Tom. Yeah.
I've just written down seduction.
Yes, seduction. Brilliant. Yeah, you can imagine the picture that'll go with the book. Sorry.
I'm just imagining the picture when Mrs. Clark finds that bit of paper.
Yeah. But there has to be substance, Tom. That's exactly what you're saying. There has to be something. There has to be a realization and what the benefits are. And sometimes you'll be like, no, well, that's the buzzword. We want to do that.
The one that slipped my mind and has just come back was horror stories. Can we do a data project horror stories episode?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I've got a few.
Obviously, we're going to have to skirt around names, people, and certain details. But yeah, I think we've all got them. And I think we should talk about it. What goes wrong?
I think maybe one of the things we do need to do almost as an episode/chapter is it's not so much choosing your tool, it's how you equip your toolbox, because each does a certain thing.
Yeah. And the right tool for the right job, right?
That also gets us one where we can mention Excel a few times.
Yes, definitely.
Because Excel will be ubiquitous to that toolbox, you know?
Fly back in.
There's a project manager I worked with a few years ago who referred to an idea of Wagile, which is between waterfall and agile.
Word.